In this video, there is a white car repeatedly coming to sudden stops at regular intervals. The driver of the white car appears visibly angry and begins shouting. Afterward, the driver returns to the car, only to repeat the same behavior. However, the car capturing the footage eventually overtakes the white car and continues driving away. Late at night, YouTuber Molly the Lag finds himself alone on the road when his attention is drawn to something peculiar. In order to catch a glimpse of it, he follows the road's meandering path and focuses on the distant horizon. Suddenly, a luminous beam traverses the road ahead, vanishing silently into thin air.
What's that?
What? What?
I saw somebody on a bicycle or something like that.
The situation becomes even stranger as the streetlights flicker in synchrony with this event. Molly is utterly perplexed, unable to decipher the significance of the moving light. Given that the road only permits straight travel and Molly has even cross-verified with Google Maps, he can rule out the possibility of it being a conventional vehicle. The enigma persists, leaving Molly completely baffled. Many dedicated police officers work tirelessly to ensure our safety. However, as revealed in these dashcam videos, there are situations that even the most prepared law enforcement officials cannot control. In December of 2017, an individual engaged in the troubling act of impersonating a police officer, targeting unsuspecting citizens just a week before Christmas. Equipped with counterfeit lights and a dashcam, he indulged in a narcissistic power trip. The victim, unaware of the imposter's true identity, found themselves being stopped, searched, and handcuffed by someone who was not a genuine law enforcement officer. Once restrained, this innocent person became entirely vulnerable to the whims of a stranger.
Copy, I'll look at it, thanks. 1629.
The events that followed remain unknown, but it appears that the imposter directed the individual into the back of his vehicle, their hands bound. The subsequent experiences endured by the victim can only be imagined as potentially horrific. In this video, a man shares an encounter where he notices an individual on the roadside while driving back home during the late hours of the night.
You see that right there? Oh, what the? Oh, what the?
In this Russian dashcam video, a group of friends inside a car notice an eerie sight. A solitary figure dressed entirely in black, standing alone on a serene city street late at night. Intrigued by this out-of-place presence, they take a closer look, feeling a sense of unease. Suddenly, their curiosity turns into astonishment as they get a clearer view of the mysterious dark figure. Its attire resembling a cloak, the person steps onto the street, now directly facing the friends, almost as if expecting their attention. Despite the limited camera quality, the observers struggle to discern any defining facial features, raising doubts about whether this entity possesses a face at all. It almost gives the impression of being a shadow person. Conversely, the friends' exaggerated reactions suggest they may be overreacting to a seemingly insignificant encounter. However, the figure's silent and foreboding posture, coupled with its motionless stance, leads one to consider the possibility that it could indeed be a spirit. This dashcam footage was recorded on a pickup truck in Chile. After the driver took an exit from the motorway on ramp, they continued their journey. Suddenly, the vehicle in front started applying the brakes, gradually slowing down until it came to a complete stop. Unexpectedly, the door of the vehicle opened, revealing two men, with one of them brandishing what appeared to be a gun. Initially, the driver reversed in an attempt to distance themselves, only to be pursued by another car. With no other option, the driver had to forge ahead, managing to merge onto the highway during the ordeal. Despite the attacker's car activating its brake lights, it had no impact on the driver's vehicle. The video was promptly submitted to the authorities to aid in the identification of the assailants. Additionally, the footage was shared online, leading to the rightful owner of the stolen vehicle recognizing it as their own a few days later. This revelation prompted the authorities to suspect that the men in the video were also involved in the attempted theft of the pickup truck. This footage was recorded by a truck driver transporting cargo. The driver had already covered hundreds of miles of road and had been driving for 7 hours in the specific area he was passing through. Interestingly, this region had gained a reputation for its peculiar encounters. Occasionally, the local newspaper would feature odd stories about ghostly figures crossing the road or hitchhikers vanishing when drivers stopped to offer them a ride. However, even more unsettling were the reports of a woman occasionally appearing in the middle of the road with certain parts of her upper body missing. It's truly an eerie phenomenon. Astonishingly, this individual claims to have come face to face with her. The scene captured by the dashcam begins with a woman seated inside her car, with a police vehicle and several bystanders surrounding her. Among them, someone notices that her tires are deflated. As they attempt to address the issue, the woman unexpectedly tries to drive away, endangering one of the bystanders who is assisting the police. In order to avoid being struck, the people swiftly retreat from the vicinity of her vehicle, allowing her an opportunity to flee.
Now you just had a wreck. Look out! Break glass, break glass, break glass! Get out the car! Get out! Get out! Tires are flat! Move!
The police promptly enter their cars and initiate a pursuit, eventually cornering the woman. However, she somehow manages to elude them once again.
Yeah. She's not gonna make it far. Go.
Subsequently, the police must commence a second chase, which ultimately results in her apprehension. Shifting to the perspective of a police body camera, we witness the officers struggling to arrest her as she vehemently protests that her recent actions were not her fault.
I got you.
Sir.
Ma'am. We got it.
I know I'm buckled, sir. I know I'm buckled, sir.
Yeah.
Sir. I didn't do anything. I didn't do it, sir.
You just tried to kill 10 people.
No, I didn't, sir.
Alex, switch
No. Sir, stop. Sir! I didn't do it. Stop.
On November 29th, 2022, during a routine patrol in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin, an officer noticed a black vehicle speeding through a mall parking lot. Notably, the car lacked a front license plate and had excessively dark toes. The officer initiated a traffic stop after observing the vehicle disregard a red light.
Dispatch,
However, the driver of the car, later identified as Winslow Tillman, accelerated and attempted to evade the police.
We got a vehicle taking off on me, just blew the red light at north. It's gonna be a Dodge Charger, heading southbound on north. Stand by for a plate.
245, 230.
If anyone's by Watertown Plank, he's gonna be stuck in traffic here.
221, sir, making it ready.
251, copy 28. He lost the front driver's side wheel, looks like.
As Winslow proceeded through another intersection, his vehicle collided with another car, causing it to spin dangerously close to a pedestrian in the sidewalk.
Crash, Watertown Plank.
All squads, major Watertown Plank for crash.
Following the incident, Winslow was apprehended and initially complied with the officer's instructions.
Get on the ground! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground now! Get on the ground! On the ground! On the ground now! Put your hands out! Hands out to the side! Do not...
However, he later made an unsuccessful attempt to escape.
Put your head down! Put your head down! Down!
Despite these events, no injuries were sustained. The dashcam video starts with a man in his vehicle attempting to cross the road. Suddenly, another vehicle appears out of nowhere and collides with them before coming to a stop. The driver of the second vehicle gets out, while the person inside the car starts angrily berating the man who stepped out.
I got a camera, dude. You just pulled into me.
Did you really hit my truck, bro?
No.
Like in the parking lot? Yes, you did.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you did.
I didn't, but you just hit me. I got it on camera.
I didn't mean to do that.
That's all right. You got you on camera. I got you right here, buddy.
Hey,
Yeah.
I did that. I didn't mean to.
Yeah, we got you. Thanks. We'll wait for the cops.
Okay.
Got you.
Despite the other guy's explanation that it wasn't his fault and that he has video evidence, the man who was hit adamantly blames him and shows no concern for the evidence provided. In Chicago, a man named Juanito was driving when a black GMC SUV suddenly entered his lane. In response, he honked his horn to alert the driver, but they didn't yield, so he cautiously drove around the vehicle. This action seemed to greatly anger the GMC driver, who started tailing Juanito, seemingly looking for a confrontation. In order to avoid any potential altercation, Juanito decided to take a side street. Unexpectedly, the GMC driver reversed and followed the same route as Juanito, intentionally cutting him off and abruptly applying the brakes. Desperate to intimidate him, she even veered onto the sidewalk to position herself next to Juanito's car. However, he managed to maneuver around her before reaching a traffic light. Despite the ongoing hostility, the GMC driver yelled and made offensive gestures towards Juanito, which he couldn't hear due to his closed windows. To escalate the situation further, another woman in the GMC car brandished a baseball bat in a threatening manner, and they also threw a drink out of the window. Soon after, they drove away. Unfortunately, Juanito mistakenly followed the GMC vehicle as they were heading in the same direction. Seizing the opportunity, the driver brake-checked him once more before he skillfully maneuvered around her and decided it was best to seek assistance at a nearby police station. He waited there for a few minutes before finally returning home, ensuring his safety. This dashcam footage lacks contextual information, but it appears that the truck driver was driving calmly until a sudden halt by a blue car in front of him. The truck driver becomes agitated and vocal, but shortly after, an unidentified object strikes the back of the truck, leading to a collision with the car ahead and resulting in significant damage.
Are you nuts? Shit! Ah!
We can only hope that the driver of the blue car survived the accident. This video was uploaded by a paranormal group, suggesting that the person who filmed it may have encountered the Lantern Man that night. According to local folklore, the Lantern Man is a spectral figure known to wander around reservoirs. Witnesses often describe seeing a distant red light in areas where there shouldn't be any. The individual behind this footage states that they were returning from a fishing trip along a secluded road that winds through the thick forest surrounding the reservoir. In the video, an eerie figure cloaked in black can be observed, leading some to believe that it resembles a skeletal being. This has sparked speculation about whether this mysterious entity could be a spiritual presence. In February 2015, two truck drivers were traveling along the highway when a white truck abruptly approached them. It decelerated in front of their vehicles, coercing them to come to a complete halt. Initially, the drivers speculated that the man in the white truck intended to convey a message, perhaps indicating a problem with their brakes. Consequently, they pulled over to the roadside, expecting someone to exit the vehicle and interact with them. However, no one emerged from the white truck, which proceeded to encircle the two truckers, occasionally impeding the flow of the oncoming traffic. The man in the white truck remained fixed in his position, intently staring at them. Fearing for their safety and suspecting that the man might be armed, the truck drivers decided to drive away. Subsequently, the white truck maneuvered itself in front of their path, compelling the drivers to reverse their vehicles in order to bypass the obstruction. The white pickup mimicked their movements, aligning itself with the truck drivers. Seizing the opportunity, the truck drivers accelerated and left the scene. However, the white pickup deliberately rammed into the rear trailer of their truck in an apparent effort to force them to halt.
Does he think you cut him off or something? DC. What's his tag? I can't see his tag.
Despite this, the truck drivers persisted in their escape, gradually distancing themselves from the pursuing vehicle until they eventually lost sight of it. Sensing the need for intervention, the truck drivers parked their truck and awaited the arrival of the police. Once the authorities arrived, an extensive search was initiated, resulting in the discovery of the white pickup a short distance away from the initial encounter. The man was apprehended, and upon reviewing the video evidence, he was promptly arrested. In Glen Heights, Texas, with unwavering bravery, the officer assumes control of the situation, maneuvering the car away from the establishment and into the safety of the parking lot. The potential threat of an explosion looms, with the officer risking being engulfed in flames and showered with scorching debris at any moment. Prepared to be bewildered by this peculiar dashcam footage captured in Malaysia, as the drivers navigate along a dimly lit road, their attention is drawn to an enigmatic woman in a pink shirt. Curiously, she materializes not once, but twice further ahead, prompting a sense of unease. Their apprehension intensifies when, in a chilling twist, they accelerate in an attempt to evade her, only to unexpectedly collide with her for the fourth and final encounter. It becomes evident, upon viewing the entire video, that the driver's route does not form a circular path. Even if it did, the time it takes for the woman to reappear renders it implausible for them to have completed a full circuit. Adding to the disconcerting nature of the footage is the fact that the woman's countenance remains concealed, as she steadfastly presents her back to the bewildered drivers throughout the perplexing ordeal. During her tour in Eastern Samar, Myrtle Sarosa, a renowned Filipino actress, had an intriguing encounter. When driving along a dimly lit back road, she and her team caught sight of a peculiar phenomenon. A small figure resembling a phantom appeared in the middle of the street. Strangely, the ghostly entity captured by the dashcam footage did not match the vivid image Myrtle witnessed firsthand. According to her account, the apparition resembled a 10-year-old child with a pale complexion, dressed in bluish-white garments. Overwhelmed with concern, Myrtle and her team contemplated going back to aid the helpless youngster. However, their tour guide cautioned them against it, explaining that this particular route was infamous for sightings of child ghosts. Urging them to leave promptly, the guide emphasized the eerie history of Eastern Samar, which had suffered the devastating loss of numerous children in a past typhoon. While some may speculate that this incident could be a publicity stunt, Myrtle Sarosa maintains the authenticity of her experience. The haunting connection to the tragic past of Eastern Samar lends credibility to her claims, urging us to ponder the unexplained mysteries that can unfold in our world. This video, captured in 2012 near Moscow Airport in Russia, portrays a harrowing incident. The airport, situated in close proximity to a highway, became the backdrop for a dramatic event on December 29th. The dashcam recorded the terrifying moments when an aircraft battling severe weather conditions missed the runway and crash-landed just beside the roadway. With limited space to brake, the plane had no choice but to collide with the road, resulting in jet seats and debris being propelled towards passing vehicles as seen in the video. It is important to note that, at the time of the incident, the aircraft only carried crew members and no passengers were aboard. Unfortunately, 5 out of the 8 crew members lost their lives, while the driver of the vehicle with the dashcam managed to escape unharmed. In this dashcam footage, a couple is driving home late at night and decides to take a shortcut that involves passing by a cemetery on an old road. Despite their lack of belief in ghost stories and never having experienced anything paranormal before, their skepticism is soon challenged as they drive along the road. They suddenly spot a woman in a white dress standing in the middle of the road, staring at them with a startled and distressed expression. Overwhelmed by fear, it takes them a while to gather the courage to pass by the lady. Eventually, they manage to drive past her and hurry home as the encounter leaves them with lingering questions. Why was the woman there at such a late hour? And why was she wearing a white dress, especially considering the chilly weather at the time of the year? While their family suggests that it could have been the spirit of the weeping woman, the couple remains uncertain about whether this was indeed a paranormal experience. In 2021, after delivering a package at UPS, Brandon noticed his friend and coworker standing by, patiently waiting for a fire truck to pass on the opposite side of an intersection. Little did they know what awaited them when the traffic light switched to green. Suddenly, a speeding pickup truck recklessly ran a red light, colliding head-on with the front of Brandon's friend's car. The pickup truck was traveling at a minimum speed of 60 miles per hour and made no effort to swerve or brake. The impact was severe, completely wrecking the friend's vehicle. Fortunately, the pickup truck driver acknowledged their responsibility for the accident. Acting swiftly, Brandon rushed his injured friend to the hospital, where the medical professionals confirmed that their injuries were not life-threatening. In this video, we witness individuals who, due to provocation from other drivers, lose their composure and succumb to road rage. The incident was captured on a dash cam, revealing a situation where a couple was crossing a road just as another vehicle approached from the opposite direction, creating a potential collision. Fortunately, the vehicles managed to avoid crashing. Despite this close call, the couple disregarded the incident and continued their journey. However, their respite was short-lived as another car suddenly cut in front of them, prompting a man to step out and unleash a barrage of angry shouts. Clearly agitated, he admonished the couple for almost colliding with his vehicle.
What happened? Did we not have the green light? Did we not?
We had a green light. You're making him almost crash. You're making me almost crash.
Wait, he was
You're
turning.
not looking behind you. You're pulling out of a stop sign out of a school, and there's people coming behind you.
No,
You're not noticing, bro.
You were coming behind me. I saw you.
Okay, and you cut me off, bro.
No, I did not.
Mad slow.
Yo, you
so
were
I
going
smack
fucking.
the shit out of you. What you gonna do? You
You're
just
me?
gonna take it like a little.
Of course, yeah.
So relax yourself out here before I catch you again, bro.
A heated argument ensued before the man eventually departed from the scene. In this dashcam video, a driver is traveling along a bustling road. The overall journey seems uneventful, but it's important to focus on the rider positioned on the right side. In a sudden turn of events, the car ahead of the motorcyclist unexpectedly crashes into him, causing the rider's bike to topple over and veer off the road. Fortunately, the rider escapes major harm as he quickly rises, brushes off the dust, and regains composure. Unfortunately, the driver of the car that collided with them displays a complete lack of concern and drives away without offering any assistance, as if the incident never occurred. While driving home from work, Will encountered a long line of cars halted at a traffic light. Unexpectedly, another driver maneuvered their vehicle through the queue, leaving Will with minimal time to halt and avoid a collision. Reacting swiftly, Will applied the brakes, but due to his speed of 45 miles per hour, stopping in time was challenging. Meanwhile, the other driver assumed it was safe to proceed. As a result of the accident, the other driver's insurance company is currently covering the cost of the estimated $4,000 worth of repairs. This man named Nicky D was driving his Tesla Model Y south on I-5 in Portland, Oregon. He was driving at around 40 miles per hour when he overtook a pickup truck that was hauling a camper. Nicky saw that traffic up ahead was slowing down gradually, but the pickup driver didn't notice in time, which caused him to ram into a car hauler at top speed. Dashcam recorded a silver car approaching a stationary semi-truck on the side of the road. The driver of the car parks and exits the vehicle, making his way towards the truck. Upon realizing that the truck is unoccupied, he proceeds to the driver's side door, which had been left open. Presumably, the truck driver was outside attending to a tire replacement or inspecting the rear trailer. The individual then searches through the truck driver's personal belongings before hastily retreating to his car, clutching a black bag. The truck driver soon becomes aware of the situation and gives chase for unknown reasons. As the car speeds away, the man abruptly stops, dropping the bag onto the ground. Without the license plate being visible in the footage, the authorities are unable to intervene, leaving the truck driver to retrieve his belongings and watch as the car swiftly departs. This dashcam footage originates from a nocturnal driver who was traveling on a highway at approximately 3:42 a.m. Unbeknownst to the driver, The camera captured what seems to be the probable cause of an unusual accident that took place that night. In the video, we observe a sizable truck driving in the distance. Unexpectedly, the truck swerves in front of the car, resulting in the accident. Initially, the person recording presumed that the small car had lost control, leading the truck to collide with it. However, it is worth scrutinizing the left side of the highway. There is an eerie presence of a slender, shadowy figure standing motionless while all the other vehicles pass by. Two friends recorded this footage from inside their car while returning home from a gathering. As stated in the video description, the road they were traveling on led them slightly beyond the town limits, with vast empty fields surrounding them. During their journey, they noticed an unusual figure on the road, initially assuming it to be a prank. However, they began to doubt this assumption due to its remote location, far away from any signs of civilization. Overwhelmed by fear, the two companions decided to reverse their car and find an alternate route, rather than risk passing by those unfamiliar individuals. It is highly unlikely that this incident had any supernatural origins, though. As the truck driver ventured across the desert, he neared a formidable, expansive gray cloud ahead. Initially assuming it to be a swirling dust storm, his perception quickly shifted as he approached closer. It became evident that he was unwittingly heading straight into an enormous swarm of locusts. Countless locusts started colliding with his truck, relentlessly pelting it, and progressively obstructing his vision, causing a rather unsettling spectacle. In Pinellas County, Florida, a police officer sits in the median, diligently monitoring for speeding vehicles when suddenly an airplane flies overhead at an alarmingly close distance. The aircraft's unstable and shaky movement suggest a complete loss of control by the pilot. Meanwhile, another deputy's dashboard camera captures an alternate perspective of the plane's ominous descent towards the ground. Reacting swiftly, both officers rush to the location of the incident, only to find a trail of fallen trees and mangled wreckage scattered across the road. In response, they promptly close off the street and call for emergency medical services to assist. To their surprise, it is discovered that the ill-fated plane belongs to none other than Roy Halladay, a renowned Major League Baseball player. Subsequent autopsy results reveal that the individuals aboard the aircraft were under the influence of alcohol at the time of the ill-fated flight. The dashcam footage in question is likely to leave viewers bewildered. In this particular video, a car is traveling along Singapore's BKE Expressway when it unexpectedly records a momentary glimpse of what seems to be a ghostly figure hitchhiking. The apparition appears unusually tall, with disproportionately elongated limbs giving it an eerie appearance. However, it's plausible that this elongated aspect is merely an optical illusion resulting from the high-speed recording. In fact, some observers have gone so far as to suggest that the ghostly figure appears to be floating. While driving to school, Tim managed to capture this dashcam footage. He was driving his BMW at approximately 45 miles per hour when another vehicle failed to yield and abruptly cut in front of him. Although Tim could exit his car and disconnect the battery on his own, onlookers insisted on calling an ambulance. As a result of the collision, Tim suffered significant internal injuries, leading to his hospitalization for 1.5 weeks. Following his hospital stay, he underwent 3 months of physical therapy and an additional month of psychotherapy to aid in his recovery. Tim received a compensation of $8,600 for the damage to his vehicle, as well as for the pain and suffering he endured. On May 22, 2021, a police officer in Pleasant Prairie, Wisconsin, was engaged in traffic enforcement when they observed a vehicle operating recklessly. Upon activating their lights to initiate a traffic stop, the driver abruptly halted and then rapidly fled from the scene. The officer pursued the fleeing vehicle until it collided with another motorist at an intersection who was not involved in the initial incident.
I got one car on fire.
The male driver of the fleeing vehicle, who was the only occupant, sustained severe injuries in the collision. He was promptly airlifted to a local hospital for medical care.
I got a real black driver unconscious at the wheel. Female who he hit is conscious and breathing.
The sole occupant of the other vehicle involved in the collision, the driver, received treatment for non-life-threatening injuries. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.